Can you ever imagine somebody is dying or crushed by a car? What do? You call the police, you call the paramedics. None show up. Now imagine your toddler, your toddler or son, steps in and decides to help out. That's exactly what happened. This toddler helped save a woman's life in Corpus. This happened a few days ago, just on the south side. What would possess a toddler to help save this woman's life when no one would help? You be the judge. And ask yourself the question, why would a toddler be able to help when he's just a toddler? Here's Bill Churchwell.
Come on, let's play. 3-year-old Maverick is known to keep his grandfather, Johnny Stobbs, a.k.a. Grumpy, on his toes.
Fast. Like you did the other day?
Yeah.
Really fast?
How about we do that? Follow me. He's fast, but a day in the yard of laughter and play quickly took a turn.
We hadn't been outside maybe 2 or 3 minutes. We hear this crumpling sound like a car. You know, I know what a car wreck sounds like.
That horrific sound caught on this home security camera. Johnny takes off, little Maverick not far behind. The cries coming from just a few houses down.
The lady who lives in the house, her name is Sylvia. She's pinned between the 2 vehicles.
As his grandfather worked to free Mrs. Sylvia, he gave Maverick an important task.
Why don't you go get your daddy, boy? I've never seen him run so fast.
Doing what he does best, those fast little feet getting the assistance they needed in record time.
See him come running across, yelling as he's in the driveway, yelling as he gets in the house. You know, Dad came down, and we were able to get Miss Sylvia dislodged, and by that time she's unconscious.
Police and fire arrived and quickly took over, but thankfully Mrs. Sylvia had already been in good hands. Turns out, heroes run in the family. Maverick's grandfather, a longtime Corpus Christi firefighter.
I'm expected to do my job. That's what I'm trained to do. I've been doing it for 35 years, and I don't know if it's what I said to him or how I said it to him, but he knew it was important.
Because of that quickness to recognize the problem, Mrs. Sylvia's family has her to hug today.
It's almost like God wanted us to be outside. I think we were supposed to be outside that day, at that time. I'm glad you were my partner, you know? But it's funny how things work sometimes.
And tonight we are told Mrs. Sylvia is out of the hospital and is recovering. Today was the first day she was able to speak, telling Johnny by phone she is very grateful for all the heroes that day, including the 2 of them. And tonight we've learned both Maverick and his grandfather will be awarded for their actions by the city. We'll keep you updated when that will be. Back to you.
Wow. What a story there. Job well done by Maverick and his grandfather. Bill, thank you for that report.
Thanks, Bill, for that report. Normally here on Give Me a Break we spread common sense, but this is not common sense to spread. Really. If you see something, you do something. I see, I say. I see, I do. We're not spreading common sense on this story. We are spreading common sense to all the bystanders. Yeah, I'm talking to y'all out there. You know what I'm talking about? You guys out there want to film on your cell phones, post on YouTube. You think I'm going to be a superstar, get my money, get my fame, be on the walk of fame, whatever. That's not the case. If you see something, you do something, you say something. You just be sitting there and say, well, I don't want to be involved in this. That may not be your choice, but don't be posting social media. Because really, I don't want that to happen. Sorry, I didn't know what kind of code that was. Just regular. Okay. So, what needs to happen here? What really needs to happen here is this. You see something, you do something. In this case right here with this kid, he did exactly what he did. He did something. There are heroes out there. There's an old song from Billy Gilman which says, there's a hero in everybody's heart. a firefighter, a police officer. Those are our heroes. Paramedics. There's a hero in everybody's heart. Be that hero. Be that man. Start helping out. You too one day can be a hero and end up on this broadcast. Which I want this kid to. I want this kid to be on this broadcast and just start telling people, hey, get off your ass and go do something for a change. Be a hero. That's exactly what I do. I'm a hero by giving y'all some common sense. They ain't no heroic thing of me to do, but it's what I do. I'll continue doing this till the end of the day until I pass it on to my nephew or niece. As a matter of fact, if I die, this show will be passed on to a fan or to a family member. I am passing this show on to my niece. I want my niece or nephew to carry on my legacy. To start spreading out the common sense. Because that's what really we all need. We all need a little common sense. Because in their tiny minds, people just think, oh, I'm going to go film and post social media. That's not right. That is not what you're supposed to do. That ain't what you're supposed to do. Okay, come up next. Sexual Harassment 101. We're going to tell you the do's and don'ts and what you need to do if you're accused of sexual harassment. What you need to know. It's Sexual Harassment 101 when we return. Stay with us. Class in session. Welcome to Sexual Harassment 101. Here, we're going to teach you what you need to know about sexual harassment and what you need to do if you are accused. Now, the falsely accused, if you're falsely accused and say, well, I didn't have anything to do with this, this is not a segment for you. However, if you are accused of sexual harassment and ask yourself, what do I do in this case? This is the segment for you. This is Sexual Harassment 101, filled with some common sense and knowledge that you need to understand. So, let's start off with the basic definition of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is behavior characterized by the making of unwelcome and inappropriate sexual remarks or physical advances in the workplace or other professional or social situation. And also according to Wikipedia, sexual harassment is a type of harassment involving the use of explicit or implicit sexual overtones, including the unwelcome and inappropriate promises and rewards in exchange for sexual favors. Sexual harassment includes a range of actions from verbal transgressions to sexual abuse or assault. That's the whole key here. Now, on Wednesday, we showed you a Dateline story about a group of women who were sexually harassed by one person. He denied sexually harassing these women. But all the women came forward saying that yes, he did. He sexually harassed these women. But what was he supposed to do? Here's what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to fess up to what he did and say, yes, I did it. But he denied. His lawyer said, well, he did not do it. But Daniel Wasson was the president, the chairman of the board, and the CEO, the boss. Where do you turn to? You probably don't turn to anyone because nobody gives a crap. Now let me focus in on the definition of what I told you about on Wednesday. What do you do if you're accused of sexual harassment? Let's look at now that we've focused on what the definition, let's look at the types of let's look at the sexual harassment in the workplace. That's the main focus of this lesson here. It is unlawful to harass a person in an applicant or an employee because of that person's sex. Harassment can include sexual harassment, unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassment of that sexual nature. What constitutes sexual harassment? Offering benefits, unwanted, threats, visual conduct, verbal conduct, and physical conduct. That's why most of these companies have sexual harassment classes. That way they can teach you what not to do when you're being accused of sexual harassment. In most cases, if you are accused and you say, well, it never happened, here's my saying. Here's an old saying from Dan Ribicoff. The mouth can lie, but the brain can't. That's the old saying here. So if you were to take a lie detector test and they ask you, have you ever sexually abused, harassed this woman, and you say no, and it comes back saying you did not tell the truth, your brain is lying to you. You may be asking, what do I do? Here's what you need to understand here. There are laws to protect people against sexual harassment. You have the EEOC, and in the story we showed you on Wednesday, these women complained to the EEOC. 45 women came forward telling their sides of the story. Dell Labs did a press conference saying this never happened. And in the end, who won? Nobody won. But Daniel Wasson was still out there. So, now that we covered in the basics of what we talked about on Wednesday, what to do if you are accused of sexual harassment. Well, there are hotlines which you can. There's a hotline out there, confidential 24/7, from RAIN.org from resources. They're an organization that helps out with that's Child Protective Services, assault and harassment. If you're accused of this, you can call 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-4673-HOPE. That's their telephone hotline. If you want all these things, we will have a link to that in the description below, as well as in our GMB newsletter, which is at substack.givemebreak.substack.com with tips and information. We men, these are what to do. What if you're falsely accused of sexual harassment? If you're falsely accused of sexual harassment, it can look like sexual pranks, verbal abuse, touching or grabbing sexual nature, repeatedly staying too close to cruising up against a person, repeatedly asking a person to socialize during off-duty hours, giving gifts, leaving objects that are sexually suggestive, off-duty unwelcome conduct. Just name a few. If you are accused, take the allegations seriously. When you're notified directly by a coworker or indirectly by other employees, supervisors, or human resource personnel, start recording your interactions with the coworker and write down everything you can recall from prior incidents. Now, you may be asking, does that mean I gotta use my phone to record? Not necessarily, but if you can record, hide your recording device under your shirt. Ask the employer to identify what steps will be taken by them to determine a good faith in the facts of the allegations. You may also wish to cooperate with any investigation undertaken by the company or the EEOC to determine whether the allegations against you can be sustained. It is important that you identify any witness and provide any statement or documentation that may support the facts in your version of what occurred. Consult an attorney who can help you respond to allegations or help you with mediation efforts by the company to resolve the issues without resorting to litigation. Consulting with your attorney can also help you decide how to best respond if the investigation finds you did sexually harass your colleague. This will also help in your anticipating penalties, such as being required to issue an apology, termination, or participation in sensitivity training. Sensitivity training is right. There are law firms out there that can tell you. But Now we focus in on sexual harassment in the workplace. What about those sensitivity trainings? Do they really help? About sexual harassment? What about all those videos that explain? We'll show you next. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sexual Harassment 101. If you are accused of sexual harassment or are accused of sexual harassment and you need some sensitivity training, you need some common sense, this is a show for you. We're talking about sexual harassment in the workplace and what can be done. If you watch Wednesday's episode, we showed you a woman who accused her boss of sexual harassment. And there are these training videos that can really help. It's called sensitivity training. And these videos can really help. Especially PowerPoints. Some of these are 9 minutes. Some of these are like 3 minutes. So let's look at the clip from
I got another story.
From 4 Generations. A training video from Consult DSS. Let's take a look at this one.
I got another story for you, but you gotta keep this on the down low.
Who would we tell? Your secret's safe with us, Des.
Okay, so this involves a very well-known company in the area, so you can't say anything.
Will you stop toying with us? Who is it?
I can't tell you, come on. So my friend works at this company.
A friend?
Yes, Raina, a friend.
Will you let him tell the story? What happened?
They treat him like dirt because of his age.
How old is he?
24.
I thought you were going to say he was older, like 60 or something. Older workers aren't the only ones getting treated unfairly in the workplace. There are more and more cases involving younger people. Huh? Makes sense, I guess.
Will y'all just let him talk?
So my friend noticed right away that this company had a culture of not respecting younger employees.
Look, I know we have to work together, but you and I both know that you'll be moving on as soon as you think somebody out there has a better deal for you. You know what I mean? Your generation just expects everything to be handed to them on a silver platter.
I don't think that's true. I've worked for...
Why don't you just go off and start your own internet company so you can become a millionaire so I can get on with my work?
I don't plan on carrying my weight around here. All I need you to tell me is the sysadmin password.
Do you know how many people I see come through this department? The last thing I want to do is hold any more hands around here, especially some kids straight out of college.
Except as part of your job description, you share critical information with coworkers.
What's this, bring a kid to work day? Where's your dad? I need help with my laptop.
It's so unfair, too, because he works longer hours and is more loyal to that place than anyone. He even goes in on Saturdays just to catch up on stuff. But does his boss consider any of that? Nope.
But didn't his boss hire him in the first place?
No. The guy before him did. The new manager's doing everything he can to make my friend leave. He was just telling me about his performance appraisal last week.
As far as the pay raise, I'm afraid we can't offer you that right now. We feel the rest of the department would take it the wrong way if they knew a person your age and with your level of experience was getting the same salary as they were.
But I have more experience than most people in this department. You know, I've been working on computers since I was 11 years old. That's over 13 years of experience.
That's not experience, son. That's tinkering. And I have the morale of my department to keep in mind. So the decision stands. And you don't have to like it. In fact, if you don't like it, you can just get up and walk right out that door. Because kids like you, a dime a dozen.
Well, excuse my French, but that's just below me.
What a jerk.
Yeah, it's really uncool.
It's too bad they can't just concentrate on your friend's abilities and leave the age thing out of the equation. Has he complained to someone? Higher management?
Well, that's part of the problem. He doesn't want to get labeled as a complainer and perpetuate the stigma that our generation is just a bunch of whiners.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that this is the first time in history that there are 4 generations in the workplace. That's a lot of different cultures trying to get along in one place.
I am so sorry I'm late. I was in a fender bender. And guess what the guy was doing when he hit me?
Talking on the phone.
Worse, texting. Can you believe
That
it?
is so dangerous. What possesses people?
I tell you, I am so sick of technology. Everyone talks about how it makes your life better, how we're all more productive, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm sick of it. I am sick of all of it.
Let's go give you a nice, relaxing scalp massage. Time to go, Buffalo.
Bye-bye, butterfly.
Oh, that's adorable.
No, that's nauseating.
I'll catch the rest of you on the flip side.
Not if I see you first.
That only works when someone says see you later.
Oh.
That's the case of harassment in the workplace. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about harassment. We're talking about sexual harassment. It's a really important issue here. Let's look at this. Let's look at this this training video from 1989.
Sexual harassment in the workplace is a very important issue, and not one to be taken lightly. We're about to show you some common workplace scenarios where sexual harassment can occur. See if you can recognize these everyday words and phrases which can qualify as sexual harassment.
Sorry I'm late.
That's okay, Becky. Have a seat.
Oh, nuts. There's nowhere to sit.
Hey, Becky, how about you sit on my face?
Were you able to identify the sexual harassment in that scenario?
Let's identify it. So, they told him to have a seat. And he was like, sit on my face. That's sexual harassment. In that case scenario, he would have said, in that case, from a common sense perspective, which raises our common sense alert. I would have been sitting down and it would have been like, there's nowhere to sit. And so I would ask, sorry, man, you can take my seat. Thank you. And she would sit down. That's the way to do this. That's the right way to do this. Continue to watch.
Becky used the word nuts, which is offensive to men.
Becky used the word nuts, okay? A lot of these... Now for those who work in a Waffle House, I mean, this whole hour is going to be all about sexual harassment. So, we're looking at tapes. We're giving you some common sense here. So, we're going to try to waste some more common sense here when we return. When we return, we're going to look at more of these training videos that could really help you. And we're also going to let you know what you can do next time you're accused of sexual harassment. And we'll also give tips for women. It's an hour you don't want to miss. So, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell whoever. Because this is really an eye-opener for every employee out there. Stay with us. These days, workplaces can be fun, but it's also an awful place for sexual harassment. We're talking about sexual harassment in the workplace. This is Sexual Harassment 101 on this broadcast. If you are accused of sexual harassment, or if you are a woman, or if you are somebody that is accusing somebody that is a victim of sexual harassment, this is a show for you. We're explaining common sense as well as showing you some training videos and spreading common sense. Let's take a look at this one from Waffle House. This can really be an eye-opener. Watch this.
Hey Mike, hey, thanks for sending me this video.
Dude, yeah, ain't this wild stuff?
Yeah, that's some pretty wild stuff, alright. Oh hey, let's send it to Joanne.
Dude, yes, get it.
This is horrible. Why would John send me something so disgusting?
Has Joanne responded yet?
Oh, yeah, no, she hasn't. I don't know what the problem is. This is a pretty funny video.
Her loss.
Yeah.
Texting me that disgusting video just made me feel awful. How could he be so insensitive? I don't think I'm gonna work there anymore.
Hi, I'm Vikas Miller. Our associates should never have to deal with something like this. This type of behavior from any Waffle House associate is out of line and will not be tolerated. When you are at Waffle House, you can't show coworkers or anyone videos, pictures, jokes, or anything of a sexual nature. This also extends to texting and emailing. You can't send any message or pictures of a sexual nature. This may also apply when you're off duty. Today we want to show you different situations to better reinforce what is not allowed under our sexual harassment and Smart Start policies. We will also tell you what you can do if you feel like you're being harassed. Here at Waffle House, we want everyone to work in an environment they find safe and free of harassment and discrimination. We simply won't tolerate this behavior. Okay, this is the official legal definition of sexual harassment. It is unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature, such as sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. When it comes to sexual or any harassment, it's what the victim believes is harassment, not the intent of the other person. That means if something is intended to be a joke and not harmful, but the person hearing the joke is offended, then this could be judged as harassment. And if you join in or laugh at an offending joke, you also could be in violation of our harassment policies.
Hey Becky, how's it going?
I'm fine, thanks.
Hey, let me help you with that.
I got it. Thanks.
Hey Becky.
Hey, can you excuse me, please?
Excuse me.
I can't stand working with him. He won't keep his hands off of me. He should just do his job and leave me alone. I just want to be left alone.
This male associate's behavior clearly violates our sexual harassment policy. It's not okay for an associate to give unwelcome hugs, rubs, massages, or have any other unwelcome physical contact with another associate. If anyone says or does anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, you should tell that person to stop immediately and report that person's behavior to the associate hotline. Steps will be taken to stop the conduct and arrangements made so the reporting associate and the accused will be separated until the investigation is completed. Once your sexual harassment complaint is reported, it will be assigned to an investigator. If it is determined that the person accused of misconduct violated our sexual harassment policy, that person will be subject to disciplinary action and will likely be terminated.
This smells really good. What's that perfume you're wearing? It smells really sexy. I don't know. It's just something cheap I picked up. You know, I love looking at you. You have such a hot body. Let's go out sometime. What do you like to do? Sorry, but you're not my type. Oh, come on, gorgeous. Why don't you give me a try? What part of no don't you understand? Look, when I see something that I want, I usually don't stop until I get it. I wish Pam would stop hitting on me and just do her job. I cannot put up with this for the rest of the shift. Why does she not understand that I'm not interested in her? When I say no, I mean no.
Unwelcome sexual comments or advances to an associate or touching an associate in an unwelcome manner is forbidden. No means no, period. No associate should be subjected to this type of behavior. If anyone says or does anything of a sexual nature that makes you feel uncomfortable, immediately report the incident to the associate hotline, regardless of the gender of the person involved.
Hey, Donna.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, can I talk to you about getting some more hours?
Sure, why don't you grab this trash? We'll talk on the way to the dumpster.
Okay. Thank you so much for the hours, too, Donna. I really appreciate
Gary,
it.
if you need those hours, I'm going to need you to do something for me.
Okay,
why don't you come over after work? We can discuss this.
Okay, why are you touching me? No, I can't. I have a wife at home and a
No, Gary, your wife doesn't need to know. You can come over. We'll have a few drinks. Who knows what else might happen?
Okay, Donna, you're my boss.
You're not going to get any hours then.
A manager can never deny an associate any job benefits such as request for more hours or to work a certain shift, or a pay raise or promotion because the associate refuses to comply with the manager's sexual request. In addition, it is our policy that no manager may ever date any associate in their management chain of command. This type of behavior is forbidden and should be reported to the associate hotline. Okay, let's see what happens next.
Okay, why am I not on the schedule? She took me off the schedule completely? You know what? I'm done with this job. I quit. Okay? I'm not going to be treated like that. You know what? I'll just go find another job.
This manager's behavior must be reported to the hotline. It is a violation of our retaliation policy for a manager to take a negative employment action such as reducing the associate's work hours, removing the associate from the work schedule, assigning less desirable job duties, or disciplining or terminating the associate's employment solely because the associate reports a sexual harassment or discrimination complaint. Now, because of this, we may have lost a good associate. Managers who engage in this type of behavior will be subject to discipline up to and including termination. Even subtle, less obvious retaliation will not be tolerated. Even being unfriendly to an associate, if it is done solely because that associate reported workplace misconduct, can be considered retaliation. Unlawful retaliation undermines the entire Smart Start system. It destroys it. For this reason, termination is almost always the result.
Morning, Bob. Welcome to Waffle House. Good morning, Bob. Would you like to try one of the manager specials again?
I don't know. Are you one of the manager's specials? How'd you like to go out with me tonight?
How about you just let me take your order, okay?
Come on, Sally. I can show you a good time.
Sally, I got this. But you can't touch other sauces like that.
Hey, I was just trying to show her a little southern hospitality. She's just one of those oversensitive types.
I told you before, I cannot keep telling you this.
Jeez, okay. I didn't mean any harm. I promise I won't do it anymore.
Okay then, are you ready to order?
Bob is always hitting on us. It makes me really uncomfortable, and I'm very glad that John stepped in and did something about it.
This customer's behavior was very inappropriate. Our sexual harassment policy doesn't just apply to associates, it extends to customer behavior as well. Associates do not have to put up with a customer's sexual comments or being touched. These are the steps you should follow if this type of situation occurs. First, don't argue with the customer or escalate the situation. Second, if one of them is on duty, have your unit or district manager step in. Third, if they are not on duty, have another associate take the customer's order. Fourth, call the hotline. And finally, 5, call the unit or district manager and inform them of what happened. If you see, hear, or have been subjected to any type of harassment, discrimination, or retaliation, report it immediately to the associate hotline. The company wants to know, indeed needs to know, when you feel you're the victim of harassment, discrimination, or retaliation. If you do not tell us, we can't help. Trained, unbiased investigators handle every single complaint. Any associate or manager that violates company policies will be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. Remember, anytime you believe you are being subjected to sexual harassment, call the associate hotline. And together we'll keep Waffle House America's place to eat and America's place to work. Thanks for your attention to this video.
I think this video deserves our big fat common sense alert. Now, what we just seen in that video was a perfect example. But most companies have their own sexual harassment policies. Most companies do, some do not. And some of those that do, that's a big time issue. If any company does not have a sexual harassment policy, they can be sued. They can be sued and held liable. I mean, you maybe say, well, it's up to the company then. I mean, if I run my own company, if I own a company and I did not have a sexual harassment policy, I would be sued like that. If I were to see someone a male grabbing a female by the shoulders, going like this, unwanted hugs and all, and I'm thinking to myself, I should have put a stop to this when I first opened this. When I first opened that establishment. I would be sued indefinitely. No ifs, ands, buts, or excuse. However, I would fess up saying, yes, Your Honor, I did not, yes, Your Honor, I admit, I confess. Or it'd be like this, Your Honor, I would like to confess something. Okay, Mr. Carmody, what is it? I did not, when I first opened this establishment or business so-and-so, I did not enforce a sexual harassment policy. If the judge were to conclude that, if the judge were to say, we're going to terminate your business so-and-so, blah, 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 then that'd be their choice. or if they were to order me to go to sensitivity training, then that'd be a great thing. I will not play this episode. It's a great way to learn, to know, because if you're being accused of sexual harassment, you need to find something that would help. Let's look at another training video.
You hear about sexual harassment on TV, and it makes the headlines in newspapers. As an employee, what do you need to know about it? First, sexual harassment is against the law, and it's against your company's policy. So what is sexual harassment?
Linda, you are doing a fine job here.
Oh, well, thank you, Steve.
But you know, you might try dressing a little sexier at work.
I'm sorry?
I mean, we're talking about your job here.
There may be physical harassment.
Wow. You're really tense today, Nancy.
Ow, Bill.
Sorry. You looked really tense.
You know, I really don't like it when you do that. Can you please stop?
I'll never stop, Nancy. Never.
In some instances, the harassment may be verbal.
Word around the office is you've got a fat cock.
Yes, I do.
I've got a fat cock too. Maybe we should rub our fat cocks together sometime. Maybe a little oil. 2 fat cocks. Together. Oil.
It might be visual harassment, such as derogatory posters, cartoons, or drawings.
Sexual harassment is not always about sex. It may be the result of a power struggle between a manager and a subordinate.
I could go for a power fuck right now.
Change is slow, and what was acceptable in common behavior years ago can now be sexual harassment.
It smells like vagina in here.
Excuse me?
It smells like fresh vagina in here.
Are you talking about my vagina?
Maybe.
Everyone wants to be treated fairly and with respect. Treat your coworkers with the courtesy and respect that you want for yourself. It's your company's policy, and it's the law.
And here's something we just not realized. Sexual harassment is against the law. And if you're found liable, you can be subject to... If you're found liable, you probably could go to jail. But there are other ways to do this. But we're not going to explain other ways. That's loopholes for deniers to just sit there and say, well, I never did this. It's like I said before. The mouth can lie, but the brain can't. Now, let's look at another example here. Kristen Walla. A year or two ago, she was harassed. She was harassed by a person who commented on Facebook about her bell dress. And you might be asking me, I mean, if you're friends with Kristen Walla, you may be like, why are you throwing the bus? No, we're not. I am not throwing her under the bus. She's a damn good meteorologist. She dresses great. I'm not harassing her. It's compliments. You're complimenting someone. You're not harassing them. You're complimenting them. Now, let's look. Let's. I'm gonna scroll down real quick to find that. I think I might have talked about her when back in April last season. Now I'm going to talk about her again, and I'm going to talk about this again because this is an issue that's, I mean, people are just sitting there saying, well, I don't know what else to do. Exactly. But Kristen did the right thing. She was criticized about her dress. And you know what she did? She did the right thing by standing up for herself. And by what she wore. That's right. Let me tell you, she did what she had to do. She did what she had to do. And I applaud her for it. This ain't no joke. We have to treat women, we as males, we have to treat women with respect. There's no if, there's no and, there's no but. I mean, there are ways you can date coworkers. You can, but there are policies. There are policies that just simply that's possibly not going to fly here unless someone wags the finger. But let me tell you, this. I have been more and willing to be with a great company where I've worked at. And let me tell you, throughout the 5 years I've worked there, I have never, ever sexually harassed any employee ever. But if I did, I would fess up, take disciplinary action, or be terminated. Goodbye to 5 years. And looking at that, and looking at this example from Christian Waller, I honestly, okay, there we go. That took a while to scroll. Now, she has a degree. You don't want to pick on somebody who has a degree in college. She looks great in a bell dress. She looks great in red, white, blue, yellow. It doesn't matter. You are to treat whoever you love with respect. We as males should not be treating women like crap. Especially in the workplace. Period. There ain't no if, there ain't no and, there ain't no but. There ain't no but about it. I mean, I'm not criticizing her. I'm on her side. When it comes to shit like this, I am on her side, definitely. Let me tell you, I have a lot of friends who are females. And I always treat them with respect. There ain't no if and but about it. If you're married to someone, you ought to if you're married to someone, you as a male need to treat your wife with respect. Granted, I'm not married. Gosh, why would I marry someone? I don't know. But let me tell you this. Say this again. I would never, ever sexually harass any woman. Ever. No massage on the shoulders. No, none of this. No, none of that. None of kissing. I mean, I'm a strict employee. Now, you might be saying, what do you mean by that? Well, here's what I mean by that. I mean, I have a very strict PDA policy. Public display of affection. That means holding hands, kissing, hugging. That's PDA. If it's outside of holding hands, that's PDA. Like, what if you're high-fiving someone? That's okay. You shake hands. That's okay. You're doing a good handshake. Fist bump. Maybe. If you do more than holding hands, you're committing PDA. A lot of schools have very strict PDA policies, which can lead to sexual harassment. We're not focused on sexual harassment in schools. That's a whole different video for those who are accused. But going back to Walla. Let me tell you, when I first heard about her being harassed, I was skeptical. I was stunned. She's one of my favorite meteorologists. I watch her every day. I watch her every day, whether she's substituting for Alan or on weekends. I watch her every damn well day. If you're watching, Kristen, you know what I'm damn well talking about. You know. You know damn well I watch. I take you very seriously. I commented saying, your dress looks great, and I think it's the best dress I've seen. Ignore the haters and continue doing what you're doing. Continue doing what you're doing. That's how it works for me. And I got reactions. I've gotten one. Here's what I've gotten. I've gotten a reaction from Krista Walla, one from Eva, one from Daniel, and one from Marty. To all you guys out there, I'm glad that to all you three out there, Marty, Daniel, and Eva, I'm glad you guys are on my side here. If you watch every day, you know what I'm talking about. So, Miss Walla, if you're watching, if you're watching, I got nothing better to say. Dress how you want to dress. You still look great on TV. And that's a fact. And that's not just a fact. That's the truth. And I know the truth. But to this person that commented on her bell dress, that person deserves a big fat common sense note. You are a bully. You are a bully. You don't pick on her. You don't ever pick on her. Now, her text message. This was the person that I'm not gonna that she scribbled, but I've had enough of. I don't know what to say anymore. All right, now we focus in on how you're accused in these sensitivity videos. These training videos. What can a female do if they're a victim? We're going to explain next. Stay with us. Welcome back. Hey, put your phone down. This is Sexual Harassment 101. What are you doing taking pictures? Oh, you want to see me naked? You ain't going to. This ain't a strip club. This is Sexual Harassment 101. If you are accused of sexual harassment or you are a victim, this is a show for you. We're talking about sexual harassment in the workplace and what you can do. If you are a victim of sexual harassment, there are steps which you can do. First, report this to your supervisor. Make sure to write down everything. The accuser's name, first and last name, just those things. Report this to your supervisor. If the supervisor's not around, just put it on a little pink slip. Just say, so-and-so, okay, Johnny sexually harassed me. Don't just be more, they ask, what did he do to you? Just write down, he talked about my bell dress, he touched my thigh, he touched this, he touched that. So if Laura reported me saying I sexually harassed her, I touched her vagina or whatever, that's sexual harassment. And next day, the supervisor's going to say, Mr. Carmody? Yes, sir? Laura here informed me that you sexually harassed her. Is this true? I might as well give in and say, yes, sir, it was me. I will take whatever necessary measures you have. I am very sorry. I will never do it again. You see, that's the phrase that I hate. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. It won't happen again. I'll never do it again. It's too late for that. My mom always tells me when I apologize to her, she always says to me, well, you should have thought about that before you went ahead and did it. She never says it's okay. That's what my mom always told me. And that's the lesson I'm giving you punks out there. You are to treat them with respect. You're not to touch them in an inappropriate manner. Handshakes, high fives, fist bumps, perfect. But if you're outside holding hands, that's PDA. As an employee, create a no PDA policy around your zone. You have your own zone. You're the employee zone. The only one that you have to make is your PDA policy. If you can't make one, make one. It'll help you out. There's no need for this crap. Another thing, if a male employee sends you a picture of his penis, do not do that. Make sure you send it like this, like, Johnny sent me a picture of his penis, and then you show it to him. It's like, okay, that's TMI too much. That's too much information, Jones, blah, 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 blah. I've already got what I need. And they ask me, did you take a picture of your penis and send to her? I'm like, yes, I did. I'm sorry. There's no I'm sorry. So you knew what you did. They have sexual harassment policies, and you know sexual harassment is against the law. So with that, we're going to have to discipline you, and we're going to terminate you. I would accept the punishment. If the victim drags me to court, I'll fess up in court right away. There's no excuse. There's really no excuse here. It's just, yes, I did it. I fess up in court. I'll fess up in jail. If they file a restraining order on me, then that's their choice. So, that's my lesson here. And that's Sexual Harassment 101. I thank you for participating in this, and I hope that you women out there, if you're victim of sexual harassment, I hope you take these tips very seriously. And you accused, I hope you rot in hell. Now get out of my sight, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Earlier we talked about sexual harassment in the workplace. The question is, what's the difference between a harassment and a nice guy? Well, this video will help you out. This was from @SpoonEatGreedy. This video from Warren Witherspoon, which was posted last year, has gotten 664,440 views. What's the difference? Well, take a look.
I'm gonna need you to leave me alone before I go to the front and file sexual harassment on you. Hi, I'm Sam. What's yours? Yeah. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Do you have a boyfriend or anything like that?
I don't know.
Maybe we should get together sometime.
Absolutely. You got your phone?
And I think this wouldn't be more than a skit. It'd be a great teaching lesson for you guys that want to get a date. For us guys. So this video would be a perfect example. But this sensitive training isn't over yet. Coming up on Saturday, it's all about discrimination in the workplace. We focused on sexual harassment tonight. Now, tomorrow night, it's going to be all about discrimination. We're also going to show you an example of how Denny's was hit with lawsuits for discrimination. Meaning, black customers don't tip, and only white customers do. That is racist. And if you agree with me, I want you to watch tomorrow's show. It's going to be great. It's going to be really helpful out there to spread common sense. Well, that's for you to come up tomorrow. So, I want to thank you. So again, before we wrap up here, I want to thank you all for participating in the Sexual Harassment 101. Again, if you are a victim of sexual harassment, or if you're accused, I'm going to have a lot of tips for you on our newsletter at givmeabreak.substack.com. You will also find helpful tips and information to what you can do next time you are accused or if you are a victim of sexual harassment. Because really, this is a hot button issue. No one cares about sexual harassment, and it's time to put it right back on the map. Because I care about everybody in this community, in this whole city, and everyone in the world, especially Kristen Weller. I care about everybody. I care about Kristen Waller, Carly Smith, Alan Holt. I care about every human being on this planet. And I take everybody very seriously. And I ain't no joke. And it's not a joke. And it's not just a statement. Not just a fact. That's the truth. And that is really the truth. And if you also accuse sexual harassment, I want you to comment down below. Comment down your story of when you were accused of being sexually harassed. I will share your story on tomorrow's video as well. So I hope to see you then. That's Give Me a Break for this Friday going to Saturday. We'll see you for a special Give Me a Break Saturday. For everyone here at YouTube, stop bullying, speak up, concentration, not strength. My body, my choice. Make your body your choice. Take care, stay safe, no jaywalking. Have a good night.